Good evening, parents. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm glad to get to talk with you about the School Resource Officer Unit for Fort Collins Police Services. I'm Corporal Jarad Sargent. This is my second year as a corporal for the School Resource Officer Unit and my 7th year as an SRO for Poudre School District. Glad to be here to talk to you about what our unit does and how we work. We wear a lot of hats in our schools, and being a resource for the school and for the students and for the parents is a big part of that job. We often work in schools with students trying to get them the help that they need in the schools, but there are times where the resources available in the schools are just insufficient for the needs of the students and their families and their parents. We often look to community resources to help engage our students, to find them the supports they need, and ultimately the goal is to prevent them from being in the criminal justice system whenever we can do that. One of the goals for the School Resource Officer Unit is to provide the lowest level of service needed for a juvenile so that we're not over-serving juveniles, and as part of that is utilizing our community resources to help these students and their families when they're in need. A lot of the organizations we try to use in lieu of putting a kid in the criminal justice system. One of the ones I use a lot, and our SROs use a lot, is called the Center for Family Outreach. It's been in our community for about 20 years, and we refer kids, students, and families to this organization for a variety of different issues. When I first started as an SRO in 2014, I really started using the center for kids that were experiencing substance use issues. Oftentimes we'd catch kids who are under the influence of marijuana or other drugs, and as an intro level of support, we might refer students to the Center for Family Outreach for Substance Abuse and Substance Use. We also refer families who are experiencing conflict through the Center for Family Outreach. They have a new grant to help families work through issues they're having in the home. We refer kids to the Center for Family Outreach for therapy. Sometimes kids and parents just need support in the home, either to communicate with each other or issues the kid might be facing, and the Center for Family Outreach has also provided support for kids experiencing that. A lot of our direct referrals, which are referrals we can make to the Center for Family Outreach without using the criminal justice system, again, are going to be for first-time substance abuse offenses or for family issues. Many of my referrals to the Center for Family Outreach were direct referrals, particularly when we had substance use issues, and we were looking for a way for kids to deal with those substance issues and also find the underlying reasons for those substance use issues. Sometimes those substance use is a way for kids to cope with other things that are going on in their lives, and the center has been great about trying to tease apart those issues so kids have a longer lasting positive impact. Another community organization that I've referred to directly is called the Child, Adolescent, and Youth Adult Connection, or CAYAC. Great thing about this agency is it serves both as a mental health provider for kids that we identify as being in high needs, and as a referral source for kids who might look for resources and mental health support in our community. I have referred a couple kids to CAYAC directly. Oftentimes, in working with counselors, we'll identify students who might need a greater level of mental health support or have no mental health support whatsoever for a variety of reasons. And we will make direct referrals for them to find the best resources for their family and for the student. I had one kid a couple of years ago who was starting to hear voices, and family had no support, didn't know who to go to, and were scared of this young student. I made a referral to CAYAC for this student, and about 3 or 4 months later, he was doing much better. The family was feeling safer, and we were able to do all of that without any criminal intervention. Colorado State University offers a mentor program called CSU Connections. When we have kids who are struggling at school, maybe struggling at home, and needing some positive mentorship, we are able to do referrals for CSU Connection as well. Oftentimes, that's going to be a group of undergraduate students who want to mentor at-risk youth, and again, provide a positive mentorship and a pro-social environment for these students to learn about appropriate behavior, mentor, or be tutored in school. So we use CSU from time to time to directly refer kids as well for mentoring and support. SROs also use the Department of Human Services program called Family Partnership. In this program, when we identify families who are having major conflicts. Usually it's between a parent and the juvenile. Sometimes the parents in the juvenile are struggling. Oftentimes we'll start to identify these kids in the schools when they're running away a lot. Sometimes they might be struggling in school, and so we're trying to narrow down what's going on at home to figure out what supports they could utilize. We'll do a direct referral for family partnerships, have family partnerships get involved and contact the parents to provide additional supports, both for the parents and for the kid who's struggling. And so this is another way for us to utilize the community support in hopes that we're getting supports in place for the family before things get to a criminal level and the justice system has to be involved to ensure a better outcome. The other program that we use once a kid has been issued a summons into court is the Juvenile Recovery Court. Great thing about this is it is a treatment-based court. It is used to try and get kids who suffer from severe substance abuse and other issues treatment, continued contact with probation officers in the courts, a direct line of communication with the magistrate, as well as a team of stakeholders in the community, school resource officer, probation, pretrial, the DA's office, our public defender's office, and other stakeholders in the community so that we can get the greatest likelihood of success and greatest outcome for that kid. The next program I'm going to talk about is one that we use both as a direct referral in order to keep kids out of the criminal justice system if we can do so, and one that our diversion program utilizes pretty heavily. The City of Fort Collins has a restorative justice program, and I have used restorative justice and Restore as a direct way to get kids accountable for criminal actions without using the criminal justice system. There are times where criminal charges are deemed necessary. There's a lot of different reasons why we would pursue charges against a kid or a student. Oftentimes we're going to look at what the severity of the crime is. Is there victim rights considerations? Does the victim want charges pressed? Is the family in need of support? In some cases, I've had parents show up and ask for additional supports because they just can't get a grasp on what's going on for their kiddo. And we decide that getting them in the criminal justice system as a way to get additional supports and some accountability is going to be the best option for the family and the best option for the student. Again, I've used restorative justice in situations where criminal summons have been issued, things like trespass, things like shoplifting, even fights, where we can get them through the restorative justice process, learn from the behavior, and hopefully make a difference in those kids' decision-making and in their lives. Those are our community programs that we utilize as SROs. I encourage you to reach out to me or any other SRO if you have questions, and appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.